What's going on, everybody? We got David Meltzer, legendary sports exec, speaker, investor, entrepreneur, four-time author. David, thanks so much for doing this today.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to talk with you and talk about life and all the different nuances of how to be happy and healthy within the context of what we're doing.
So you have this really cool goal that made me want to have this conversation with you. You have this goal of helping or impacting 1 billion people to be happy. How did that start out?
Well, through my journey, I've learned many lessons about making money, helping people, and having fun. And what I realized was that through the journey that I've been through, the lessons that I've learned is I have a great ability of empowering others to do so, to make a lot of money, to live in abundance, to help a lot of people, elevate others, to elevate themselves, and have fun doing it. And through that experience, one of my daughters, when she was 13, had a friend who committed suicide, which sent me down a journey about happiness and understanding how many people take their own lives, how many people are unhappy. The fastest growing cause of death in almost every single demographic is suicide. And so I saw a different epidemic, a different pandemic that I wanted to help with. And that was the ultimate goal of life, or mission in life, is to be happy. And so through values and daily practices and formulas and principles and pillars, and the books that I've written, I've dedicated my life to empowering people like you, Brandon, to help empower people to empower people. So mathematically, I'm looking for 1,000 Brandons to empower 1,000 more Brandons to empower 1,000 more Brandons, 1,000 times 1,000's a million times 1,000's a billion. We can create a new collective consciousness in the world, a world of happiness.
So basically, you're looking for 1,000 people to impact 1,000 people. Is that how it works?
Yeah, to impact another 1,000, correct. So,
To impact another
really
1,000.
really going deep in ambassadorship, not really interested in followers, more interested in empowering people that will empower other people to empower people. So really giving simple yet powerful methodologies in order to effectuate how can we make money or create abundance? How can we help people and have fun?
Wow, that is so cool. And then do you feel like that goal happened because of the success you had early in your career,
I
earlier in
think
your
it more
life?
happened because of the failures, mistakes, and setbacks that I experienced in my career when coming out of law school, making $1 million in 9 months, being worth over $100 million, and losing it all. The lessons that I learned through that experience, I think, has helped me to pay the dummy tax that others don't need to pay anymore, to give me a different perspective, a different mindset, heart set, and handset to help people.
So the dummy task, that sounds interesting. Is that something that you recommend everyone go through in life when you're older and it's like, oh, I wish I knew that back then, but I wouldn't have known it if it wasn't for those dumb, stupid mistakes.
Yeah, so the dummy tax will be paid by everyone. But what I want people to do is to experience newer, greater dummy tax. So be able to build off of the lessons learned from others. That's why I always say the fastest way to get to where you want to be is not only to ask for help, to find someone in that situation, but to also help other people get what they want. And so the dummy tax is an essential portion or lesson in order to accelerate, grow, and learn.
Powerful stuff right there. I really resonate a lot with what you said there. I wrote this poem once. I thought I was good until I saw great. It was then when I understood what achieving my dreams would take. And what that means is, like, when you see great, you start to understand the little things that you can do to become that great someday. How important is it to reach out for help, to look for mentors, work for people who have what you want?
I think it's essential. I still have a minimum at all times of 3 mentors in my life, people who sit in a situation that I want to be in, whether it be for my health or for sleep or for business, obviously for speaking and writing and executive producing of movies, TV, podcast mentors, all of those different areas. The fastest way for me to get to that great is to find someone that's better than me, to find someone that's great and ask them for directions. And I think it's essential. We don't have enough man-made constructive time in order to effectuate learning everything ourselves. We need help in order to accelerate the understanding and the knowledge base, the skills, as well as the desire. And that collective, that ability to find people, which is more accessible today than ever, is essential in my belief. And everyone out there that's listening should have at least 3 mentors at all time, or you're not taking advantage of the accessibility of mentorship today in America.
And so how, when someone wants a mentor, how do they go approach these people? How do they go find these mentors?
Yeah, well, look, you got to ask. You got to ask in person, on the phone, via email, traditional social media. I use an open-ended template that is based off of finding open minds. I find everybody has an open mind some of the time. And if we can find someone in a situation that we want to be in person, on the phone, via email or media, that has an open mind, the best way to ask for help is to ask them what they're doing today pertaining to the situation you want to be in. Ask them what they like about it, ask them what they don't like about it, and then ask them, would it help you if I did this? So provide service or value, provide input, provide perspective. And then if you do so, the natural transition is one of my favorite questions is, do you know anyone that could help me? So using the open-ended template that I created, which I'm happy to send to everyone, I always say if it's free, it's we. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll send that open-ended question template that allows you to ask anyone in person, on the phone, via email or media for help by understanding what they're doing today in the situation you want to be in, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, to find the emotional attachment, and then figure out how you could be of service or value to that person, which naturally leads you to the transitional statement of, do you know anyone that could help me, which is the softest way of asking for help with the least amount of resistance.
So they can actually get that if they just email you.
Yeah,
And
David@dmeltzer.com. Yeah, I'd be happy to send that and my book. So, and I know you have a few to give away as well.
yeah, so one of the cool things is, I believe it will be this book. We're gonna, at the speaker school finale in a couple weeks, we're gonna give everyone a copy of this. So we're pretty pumped.
Awesome.
So what is the process like to write a book?
Well, I teach a lot of people how to write a book. And number one, I ask them how they effectively communicate. Some people are like to write, some people like to type, some people like to talk. For me, I love to do research first by lessons and stories. So I'll find 10 lessons that are aligned with a topic or a subject matter that I want to write about. I then will do research on each of those lessons to tell the stories, to teach those lessons. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead individually and write 10 chapters based off of one lesson with multiple stories, analogies, and allusions that allow me to best be descriptive in teaching that lesson. And then when all 10 of my lessons are written up into 10 chapters, I go ahead and read it myself and write an introduction. Then I read it one more time and write a conclusion. Then I send it to a publishing consultant who goes ahead and critiques not only just the grammar and the vocabulary and vernacular, but more importantly, the idea set of being able to resonate with a bigger spectrum in a powerful way. So I like to do research on each of them. I actually like to teach and transcribe my teachings, and then I edit it myself, is how I write. But that is irrelevant as long as you know how you like to communicate. The key is to organize the lessons and stories into chapters, writing the introduction after the chapters are written, and then reading everything once again and writing the conclusion.
When you edit, because I can relate to this a lot, when you edit, what do you look for? Is it you edit the stuff that you're teaching and you're watching yourself actually teach it and the people say it, or you're actually just saying this out loud?
I transcribe it. So I'll go ahead and teach it, then transcribe it, and then I'll edit it to make sense by reading it out loud and seeing what's missing and making my own notation. Hey, find some support for this statement, find a better story for this, explain this at a lower level so that more people understand it. I have a statement that I put Meltzerisms when I start getting too spiritual, or I get really, I've studied physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. I'm a quantum healer. I have studied, in India. So sometimes I get a little bit quantum, and the stuff that I talk about when I read it myself doesn't make sense, let alone does it make sense to, an eighth grader, which is where I like to resonate at an eighth grade level where almost everybody can understand what I'm talking about. So sometimes I talk in the wrong essence or the wrong frequency. So I do that frequency test as well as an in-depth test of what I'm saying and how I can best support or articulate the quantitative value that I'm trying to articulate in a book.
Okay, that makes sense. What was your experiences like when you were in India?
Well, I've been there many times. I had 150 developers developing a compliance tool for LegalZoom to call, complete, and record meetings. Since I come from the legal research space, was my first job out of law school, and we were blessed to have an exit of $3.4 billion in 1995. And I, utilized that. So India for me had two different aspects. One in business, an extraordinary experience of traveling and working in India with developers, but also in a spiritual way. That's where I was approached to learn meditation, to learn quantum healing, to really shift my paradigm and perspective of what my purpose was and how best I could serve. Taking me from a world not just of not enough, where things happen to me, not just a world of for me, where everything became a trade and negotiation, a scarce world, but it was the impetus and the catalyst for me to learn about a world of more than enough, which is the premise or the basis of what I teach, abundance. That never would have occurred if I didn't get the exposure and awareness with people like Dr. Sangeeta Sahi or Kishore Lula at Eros Entertainment, or a variety of other Sadhguru that I was exposed to teach me a different way, a different paradigm to live by. So no longer was I thinking I have to get more happy, more healthy, more wealthy, more worthy. I started to shift my perspective of I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? And then through the teachings that I learned and the methodologies that I learned in India, I started raising not only my ability to sit still, but my ability to be at peace or to stay quiet, but even my ability to raise my awareness and transcend information from that awareness into my pragmatic, practical day that's utilizing the man-made construct of time to be efficient, effective, and statistically successful. So probably the most impactful place on earth to reconcile the spiritual, the mental, and the physical realms that I was working within.
Where is it that you would recommend going in India?
Oh, there's so many different places, Mumbai, Calcutta, Agra. Everyone should see the Taj Mahal as well. But there's many gurus there, and do your research. Sadhguru is one of my favorites. He's the most Western in his knowledge base and his culture. So check out, either Deepak Chopra or Sadhguru to give you a little bit of insight and influence on what best resonates with you and where to go.
Okay. Yeah, my sister married a guy from India, so I think I might have to go check that out someday.
Highly recommend it.
What do you think people in their 20s, what do you think are the biggest mistakes that will be made?
Oh, that's easy. It's the same mistake that I made through my 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I still remember, and recollect today in my 50s. That's ask for help. The biggest mistake is to think that it's not humble to ask for help. When you're in your 20s, there's so many people that can help you. There's so many people who want to help you. And most people in their 20s are afraid to ask for help. They don't take the time to find someone that sits in that situation to make it easier on them, but not only easier on them through the ability to communicate the lessons, but also the spheres of influence and the relationship capital. When you ask for help, as stated in Ben Franklin's autobiography, you become an investment of the person that's helping you, because once they help you, your success becomes their success. They're going to want you to be successful. I just see so many young people trying to do it on their own, thinking that that was where humility lies and not asking for help. I'm one who empowers people and suggests that radical humility lies in your ability to find someone to ask for help from.
I'm so glad that you just nailed this point in so many different ways, because the older I get, the more experiences I've been through, the more I realize that's the answer to virtually everything, is ask for help.
Yeah,
And
it's an
then
acknowledgement, right? It's acknowledgement that you don't know what you don't know, and you're utilizing people that do know what they do know. Look, there's trillions of universes, trillions of variables within each universe. How the F do you think you know what you're talking about? You don't know, and I don't know. We may know very minute little things. So if we can find out the experts in, Web3 or whatever, then find those people, or sleep or nutrition or whatever. But look, they still only know a tidbit of it, but the fastest and easiest way to get to where you want to be is find someone that's there and ask them for directions.
the last question I have for you is, how do you balance work, making a living, with the lifestyle that you want to live?
Yeah, this has been one of the greater capabilities of my life, utilizing 5 daily practices to have a weighted balance every single day in a trajectory of what I think I want in the future. So I go ahead and align the meaning of the defining moments of my past, the inflection points of my past. I change the meaning of my past to align with what's important with me today. What do I want personally, experientially, giving and receiving? Who can I help and who can help me? And how best can I get that done? In a lens of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, in a lens of efficiency, effectiveness, and statistical success. And if you know your what, your who, and your how, you then can prioritize your now. And see, most people don't understand that prioritization is the antidote to procrastination. Prioritization is the antidote to feeling overwhelmed. Feeling overwhelmed is a sense of abundance, that you have more than enough to do, more than enough options, opportunities, touches of favor. So I teach people through 5 daily practices to know their what, their who, and the how, so they can know their now. 100% of the things you do now get done. What happens if you know your what, your who, your how, and your now is, instead of you searching for your why, like so many people in their 20s are doing, you actually apply your why. You apply your intellect, your intuition, your inspiration. You apply it by knowing you're happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. You start figuring out what you're doing to interfere with it. In other words, you start identifying fear, utilizing fear either to get you up, get you back up, get you started, or get you back started, or you utilize fear to get the F out of your own way. And that's where people do themselves an injustice, by not understanding, identifying fear, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, complaining, judging, conditions, all these different things that people do to themselves to interfere with the greatest source of power, the omniscient, all powerful, all knowing, that's connected to and through them. So if anybody wants those 5 daily practices, just email me. I'll give them for free, with the template, with the book, whatever you need. David@dmeltzer.com. Reach out to me. I appreciate you, Brandon. Hopefully I'll be able to send you this stuff as well. You'll email me. Let's do more together. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And make sure to follow him on Instagram. He's got so many daily clips just on there all the time.